Alright, hello, how's everybody doing? I'm Ruby Burrito, and welcome to today's video. So, a little while ago somebody had asked me to do a video on infusions, and I know it's taken me a little bit to get there, but I have now finally had the chance to sit down and do it. Real life had been a little crazy, haven't had the chance to play too much, tried to get in my streams and everything, but here we are. So, I guess we'll start with the basics of what is an infusion. So an infusion is an upgrade component that goes into accessories and equipment. So you'll see here that I have agony infusions on my accessories, my rings, and this weapon. I'm not running ascended gear because you need to have ascended or legendary gear to equip an infusion. Enrichments are slightly different. Enrichments will be filled into an amulet slot, and I will get to those later. There's only a handful of those. But to me, there's two main types of infusions. There's stat infusions, and then there's cosmetic infusions. The cosmetic infusions I'll touch on first because I do already have a video about those. I have a video about the most expensive drops in Guild Wars 2, which is pretty much just talking about the infusions in the game. You have infusions like the Chalk infusion from the Tangled Depths Chalk Garant meta, which is over here. That was introduced in, I don't have map completion on this character, but you'll see that Tangled Depths is here. Auric Basin has the Aurelium infusion. If you go down to the Crystal Desert, the Amnoon map has, or the Crystal Oasis map in Amnoon has the Pinata event, which can get you the Festive Confetti infusion, and the Crystal Desert down in Corna. Over here, you'll have the Death Branded Shatter, which can give you the Crystal infusion. There's a lot of different types of infusions that are cosmetic. If you go to achievements, there's the Otter infusion, which, if you go to here, you can see, well, this one's an enrichment, Otter's enrichment, but this one's going to be a cosmetic as well. A lot of people will use those interchangeably, but as you can see, the enrichment is still just on the amulet. There's an infusion for Jormag, where if you played through the Icebrood Saga, you had the opportunity to get the Frost Legion infusion, which gives you a frosty, somewhat semi-translucent appearance. I'm going to have a link down in the description for all of the cosmetic upgrade components because those have varying effects. Some are smaller. The Aurelium could be considered to be smaller, whereas the Ember infusion that you can get from a trick-or-treat bag completely changes your skin. So that's pretty much the point of cosmetic infusions. Each of those can be upgraded to have stats. So if you're looking to get one of those, take a look at the stats and how to do that. It's pretty much just going to the Mystic Forge, putting in a set of items, and then from there, for example, Mystic, I'm looking at the Preserved Queen Bee, which you can get from the Silver Wastes. The Silver Wastes being over here. I have Dry Top, haven't been a Silver Waste on this character. This character is mostly here because this is the character that I do fractals on, but we'll get to that. But you just put in an Agony infusion, because the Agony infusions can have stats. Mystic Crystals, your Preserved Queen Bee infusion, and then a glob of coagulated mist essence. That's how you change the stats for the Preserved Queen Bee. Now, if you don't want to spend thousands of gold, because if we go to the trading post, those are very rare drops, so hoping to get one of the regular drops, you can see that even the Ember infusion that comes from trick-or-treat bags is 800 to 1,000 gold if you want to buy it on the trading post. And all of these are even more. If you don't want to spend that, you can come over to Fractals. There's not going to be a cosmetic aura for this one, but you can still get the stats. If you take a look, my personal fractal level is 49, which puts me in tier 2. There are 4 tiers. In tier 1, up until... Actually, I haven't taken a look. Up until 20. I thought it was 10. Up until 20, you don't need agony resistance. So you can do 1 through 19 with no issues. Once you get to 20, you'll start getting an agony debuff, which deals damage over time, and it can make the encounters very difficult. The reason that you can't do tier 4 right away is because at the top you need 151. So if you get into combat, you'll pretty much just die instantly with no agony resistance. I have 72 on this character. The limitation for me right now is slots. So if we go to equipment, I have ascended accessories here. I have infused or attuned ascended rings, which allows me to put 2 in, and I have a legendary 2-handed weapon, which allows me to put 2 in as well. But I'm not running any ascended armor, and I'm only running an exotic back item. That's where the rest of the slots would be, and that's how I would get to the 150 that I need. If you come to the Fractals of the Mist, this Infuse Merchant allows you to take the +1 Agony Infusions that you get from just doing fractals. You can also buy them on the trading post. If I go to Agony, you can see you can actually buy all of them, the most expensive of which is going to be the +18. It's a little pricey. But if you start looking at the +9, these are much more affordable. +11 or +10 is going to be more expensive, but still reasonable. But beyond that, it gets pretty crazy. This is also where you can turn, for example, your +3 Agony Infusions into higher, +5, +7, +9. And once you get there, you can turn your Agony Infusions, these are +5s, the highest, these are +7, and then here is +9. So I would suggest going to +9 if you can. You do need 7 +7, 6 +7, and 2 mystical +7, which is going to be right here, if you want the mystical +9 Agony Infusion. So these are not as easy to get, and it's not a huge amount of stats. For example, +5 power, I have 2,163 without that. So I don't have the stat ones because I haven't found them to be necessary for me. But yes, this is who you would go to if you want to do that, the high level infusions. You can also turn a +16 Agony Infusion into 5 resilient +9 Agony Infusions. So this might actually be the way to go. Although expensive, it might be simpler. Now, there's technically 4 types of attribute infusions. There's Agony, which we just went over. There's just straight up attribute, which doesn't give you agony. You can go and find those from vendors. Then there's Worldview World, which if you go to the World Merchant here, you can see that you can buy Ascended gear from them, which will give you slots. But this is where you can get the Worldview World infusions, which give you the defensive ones give you reduced damage from guards, lords, and supervisors, while the offensive ones give you additional damage. And then there's swim speed. I don't have too much knowledge of swim speed because I only spend so much time underwater and haven't felt the need to add swim speed infusions. But if you enjoy spending time underwater and you want to add some swim speed infusions on a PvE character, it makes all the sense to me. Before I leave this character, I do want to note that there are some enrichments here. So if you have an Ascended, for example, I have an Ascended Amulet on this character, although this is not a Worldview World character, you can grab +10% Worldview World experience or +5% reward track gain, both of which would be very nice. So keep that in mind if you're going to be doing Worldview World. Those are the 2 enrichments for Worldview World. That's the wrong character. There are 3 achievements that give you enrichments. There is the Otter's Blessing, which I already touched on. There's the Coda's Warmth enrichment, which gives you a 15% karma bonus, which also has a cosmetic aura. And then actually, if you get your account to 8 years old and have a character that is 8 years old, in your birthday present, you will get a celebratory birthday enrichment, which is plus 15% karma, and it gives you a draw effect. Sometimes it plays fully, sometimes it doesn't. There you go. Now you can see the Guild Wars 2 logo there. Sometimes it plays with all of the explosions, and sometimes it doesn't. It looks to be almost every other. So that one kind of goes on initiation into combat or mounting, and that one can actually be bought after you've achieved it. You can buy them for 25 laurels and 5 gold. There are 4 other enrichments that you can get for PvE purposes from Laurel vendors. There's the Gilded, which is plus 20% gold, Magical, which is plus 20% Magic Find, Experience enrichment plus 20% experience, and Karmic plus 15% karma. If you ever put those on an item, you can use an infusion extraction device to remove those. That's going to be about it. That's pretty much what infusions are. I don't have infusions on most of my characters. For my purpose, they're mostly useful for Worldview World will be the enrichments, but they're mostly useful for fractals, because that is good endgame content that gives you good rewards. And once I get more into raiding, if I want to get that little boost of stats to get some more damage output or some more healing, that is what I will use them for. That's going to wrap it up for today. I will have the links down in the description. If you have any questions, comments, if you have anything to add that I missed, please let me know down in the comments below. Otherwise, if you want to support the channel, feel free to like or subscribe if you are feeling up to it. Or if you want to come hang out in my streams, it is now Monday, now that I'm doing this, trying to do this for the 3rd time. So I will be streaming tonight. I'll be streaming on Wednesdays. And then coming up, I'll have some time where I'll actually be streaming more than that. You're definitely welcome to come hang out if you have some achievements or metas or something that you want to do. We'd love to have you, and we can try to help get those taken care of. But with that, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.